All right, welcome, Buddy Book Club. I'm Dylan here with the two-eyed Keith. What's up, buddy?
Hello, hello.
We're breaking down some box office bangers, and this week we'll be discussing 1985 seminal film, The Goonies. P.S. I think One-Eyed Willie was also seminal, but in a different way. Anywho, if you'd like to recommend a book or a movie for us to read or watch, you can visit our website, buddybookclub.com, or slide into our DMs on Twitter or Instagram, Buddy Book Club Podcast. You can listen to us on iTunes and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, so please download and subscribe. Keith, The Goonies. For me, I can only speak about myself. This was one of the most important movies of my youth. We've talked in a previous episode, I think it was The Sandlot, about how, there was a point when you just had a few different VHSs lying around. Well, The Goonies happened to be one of the few at my grandparents' place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They had The Goonies, they had Robin Hood, the Disney movie, and I can't really think of any other ones. And they also lived in a very sketchy part of the city where it was pretty much like, just don't go outside. So when we visited them, it was like, all right, well, we're either playing War, like the card game, or we're sitting down on the couch watching Robin Hood and Goonies in back-to-back features. So big one for me, nostalgic for me. From my understanding, this is your first time hanging out with the Goonies, right?
Yeah, this it's the buddies' time down here. Okay, up there it's their time. It's the buddies' time down here. That is the first time seeing it. Obviously, it's a little different as an adult seeing this, but
oh no, do not start with me. Uh-oh. All right, I can come at Hitch because that came out in the last 15 years, but you can't come at this.
I'll have my vengeance in this life or the next.
All right, well then let's get into it. I'm ready for it. I'm here for your pugilism. Stock up. What do you got?
Stock up, being selfish and guilt tripping. We'll start off on.
Okay.
I mean, that's what this whole movie is about, right? It's just like every speech and every single part of what Mikey is saying is basically like, I have to move, so you guys need to stay here and risk your lives. Like, that's what every single thing is. I'm about to move, so you guys all follow me down to this treasure thing. He even has a speech. He's like, the next time we take a test, it'll be in some other school. Or the next time we look at the sky, it'll be some other sky. A different town. It's like, no, that's just you, Mikey. No one else is having this. What are you talking about?
Well, everyone else is moving. Everyone's in the neighborhood.
Oh, every single person's moving?
Yeah, which, I mean, we're not going to... I don't think we can...
Is that that's what's happening?
I don't think we can really chop this up too much because then it'll reveal that it just comes apart in tatters. But yeah, they're building a golf course. Trent and his dad are building a golf course on this area of Astoria, Oregon. And there's 50 homes, I think. 50 homes are affected. And for some reason, everyone here is somewhat affected.
Because they all live in Goon Docks or Goon Streets or something, or Goon something? I don't know.
Yeah, they all just live next to each other, I guess, and they're all going to have to move. The school's getting blown up for the 8th hole or something. I don't know. But yes, my understanding is that everyone's moving. They're all going to different places. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I do agree with you in the sense that Mikey does a great job. I mean, he's a natural born leader in that he's able to get people to literally sacrifice their lives because they're going to have to move. It's like... It's like the next time we'll be looking up at a different sky. It's like, no, Mikey, the next time we'll all be dead because there are the Fratellis chasing us. They have weapons and we're in this ancient catacomb where there's booty traps everywhere. So, but yeah, he's able to lead. What can you say?
Also, it's kind of like the woe is me story. Meanwhile, they hire a maid to clean their mansion.
Whoa, slow down. Don't get ahead of us here. Okay, don't get ahead of us.
But I'm just talking about being the selfish and guilt tripping part. The maid finds the diamonds and is, instead of being like, let me pocket these, she's like, here you go. And they're like, great, we're taking these. See you later. Like, these are all for us.
Get back to work, Rosalita.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, yeah. I can take it.
A lot of that going on. I didn't realize, though. I thought it was just Mikey. Okay, but anyways.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's everybody. My first stock up is a song created specifically for a movie. So as a kid, I loved The Goonies Are Good Enough. Great song. Anytime that there's a movie and a famous person or whatever the case comes on to make a song that's specific for that, it's always fire. I mean, we got Danger Zone, Kenny Loggins for the Top Gun movie. Everything I Do It For You, Bryan Adams for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Kevin Costner, one of my all-time favorites, another VHS I owned as a child. People can shit on that all they want. I think it's a phenomenal film. A Never-Ending Story, just an actual great song that they then used in Stranger Things and became a hit all over again.
Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Elton John, Lion King.
Disney movies are tough because like obviously they're going to be musicals because like Phil Collins and the Tarzan is just like crushes it. Elton John obviously crushes it for that. We have Footloose. There's so many. They're all great. So anytime that there's a movie and they tell me there's a song specifically made for this movie, I'm in for it. Yeah, Cyndi Lauper also. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. One of my top 3 songs of all time. Cyndi Lauper was the first person I saw in concert. Cyndi Lauper and Harry Connick Jr. What's up? What's up? So
nice.
Yeah, right. I'm all in for it. Stock up, Cyndi Lauper. Stock up, Goonies. Stock up music.
I mean, I don't hate that. I think that's on point. I agree.
What else you got?
Breaking shit, stock up.
This is a good one. I like this.
The whole movie basically taught us to just go around breaking shit and good things will happen.
Yeah.
They go into the attic. I mean, they're already just destroying the house. I didn't really understand in order to like open the gate. They're just like, what is it called when you like set up stuff to like in order to open?
Don't get ahead of my next stock up, okay?
But like they leave the sprinkler on. They're just like destroying the yard in order to open the gate, which is like 3 feet away from them. I was like, wait, what? And then they're like proceed to go to the attic and just start breaking shit on. I'm like, these are all like expensive art pieces.
Hey, Chunk, can you hold this for a second?
And then, so they're breaking shit. They find the map. So obviously breaking shit's good and destroying frames are good. Then they break their brother's bike. They go in, they find a water jug, just throw that on the ground. They're like, glass water jug, glass all over the floor. But that leads us to the basement. Let's just destroy the shit out of this basement. They kick that out. They go down, they start looting corpses and start stealing shit, breaking everything there. They go in this old ship. They just start destroying the shit out of that. They go to these caves. They start throwing dynamite everywhere. I'm like, what's going? There's no consequences for any of what they're doing, and they're just destroying everything on their path. I was like, all right,
just rewards, no consequences. Clumsiness, stock up.
Yeah, and clumsiness. Yeah, apparently.
Okay, I love it. So my next stop up, you were talking about it before, is Rube Goldberg.
All right, that's what
the cartoonist. Yeah. So the gate you're talking about is a Rube Goldberg machine, and it turns out not only the Goonies obsessed with these, but as are pirates from the 1600s, because One-Eyed Willie had a couple on his ship, as well as like in the cavernous system they had there, the bowling ball situation, which fascinating that all that stuff still worked after all those years. You know, the clothing on all the pirates was still intact after 400 years. It's really amazing. It's like good for those pirates. They were very well designed, good engineers. But yeah, I feel like Rube Goldberg's had a renaissance in this time between this. Did you ever see Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
No.
Oh, okay. Great movie. But yeah, he has one for like making breakfast. That was super fun. And then they went away for a bit, but now, at least when I, peruse Reddit here and there, you see some like super crazy intricate ones. There was that like Honda commercial that had one. I think it was like a Super Bowl ad that was just like all the parts of a Honda that then like got put together. I think it was Honda got put together, and like that was a cool machine. And then they're making another renaissance. So good for Rube Goldberg. Was one cartoon that then sparked all this stuff, and they've been in like music videos and stuff like that. It's great. I love a good Rube Goldberg.
Yeah, what's the book we read? Imagination Game or something game or
Inheritance
Game. Yeah, where one of the kids is big into those. I wasn't visualizing it, I guess, the right way. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to visualize anything but that book because it was terrible. I can't believe someone funded her to make 3 of those terrible books.
Yeah, they were pretty well praised, too.
Yeah, I know. People are so stupid. All right, let's get back to us being stupid. What else did you ever stock up?
The last one was just being able to speak and read Spanish.
Mouth. Good for him.
Yeah, a little surprising that in the middle of Oregon, it's a coastal town. They're like, oh, we need someone to translate this Spanish for this maid who doesn't speak it. I mean, I didn't know Oregon was known for its wealth in Spanish population. But hey, you know what? I guess it is. And then the whole map is in Spanish, so you need to be able to read it, which... What are they, 8 or 10? I could barely read English at that point. This guy's bilingual.
They're probably like 12 to 13.
Okay. I don't really know kids' ages. But either way, I mean, pretty impressive. And yeah, just in general, I wish I could read or speak or do anything other than English, and I can barely do that. So there it is.
Yeah, I mean, Mouth said he was fluent, and at first you think he's joking. But then, he's obviously fluent considering he knows words like cocaine and heroin and drugs,
right?
And
important ones, though.
Sexual things. Back to breaking stuff. Did you also have a chuckle at the statue breaking, the penis stuff going on there?
Oh.
That's my mom's favorite part.
Yeah, that was something.
Oh, come on. Live a little, Keith.
I mean, maybe that's why I wasn't allowed to watch it as a kid. There was too much profanity.
Yeah, that's straight pornography.
Yeah,
right
pretty
there.
much, yeah.
My next stock up is terrible acting. So,
All right.
Honestly, overall, I thought the kids did a great job.
Yeah.
I really do. I think Corey Feldman alone was super good. Data, great. But there's 2 minutes while the Goonies are under the wishing well that we get a perfect storm of bad acting and bad script. But it works. For some reason, it works. It's some of the most memorable lines of the movie in my mind. When Corey Feldman's talking about the coin that he's going to take, he's like, "This is my wish. This one is my wish, and it didn't come true. So I'm taking it back. I'm taking them all back." And then right after that, you get the Mikey line that you talked about, like, up there, it's their time. It's their time up there. Down here, it's our time. It's our time down here. And then it's culminated with the best was when Troy says, "Andy, you Goonie." It's just like so bad. But
I looked up top quote. Those were all top quotes. I was like, wait, what? Why? What? I don't get it.
Yeah,
what?
Exactly. That's why it works for some reason. If you asked me about the Goonies and said, "Can you remember any lines?" those would be the first ones I would remember for sure. And it's terrible every time I watch it, and it makes me laugh every time I watch it. So what else do you need?
All right, I guess.
Chris Columbus, good for you.
It's usually like, "You can't handle the truth" type lines, not like lines that don't make any sense in the context of the movie in any way. But all right, fair enough.
What about Goonies Never Say Die? Are you a big fan of that?
Oh, I think my next stock down, it ties right into that.
All right, well, let's go to stock down then. What do you have?
Yeah, talking in the third person, stock down. There's a lot of this going on, and frankly, it just never made sense. It didn't make sense at all.
Okay.
Goonies never die. What?
Goonies Never Say Die.
Goonies never say die? In what
Yeah.
context is that possibly being used previously that has become a term where they need to reference and say, whoa, we never say die here. And they say die plenty of times, or we're going to they're screaming the whole movie. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like as they're building the Rube Goldberg machine, it's like, I don't know, should we put this bowling ball on here? I feel like we might die. It's like,
whoa.
Chuck, Goonies never say die. You know that. Do the truffle shuffle.
And then Rudy, aka Sean Astin, is talking to the girl that's playing piano, and she keeps on messing up, and he's like, "You're a Goonie, and Goonies always make mistakes. Just don't make any more mistakes." I was like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense.
It does. Makes perfect sense. He's saying, "You're Goonie. Goonies make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes, but now you've reached your limit.
Yeah, we always
can't
make
have
mistakes.
any more.
We don't ever make any more mistakes.
Or else we'll be flat." Even, he's always coming up with a joke,
God.
even in the toughest times.
That didn't even land in the movie. No one even gave him a smile there. They're like, "We're going to cut that, I'm sure." And then it didn't cut it somehow. Lastly, Data. Data is just Inspector Gadget, right? He's just...
Oh, yeah.
He's like, go, Data, slick shoes, but he's talking in the third person the whole time. So, I mean, I guess Inspector Gadget does the same thing.
Well, Data talks to himself.
Well, I respect that.
Pinches of power. Yeah. Very important.
That was one of the dumbest thing ever. I guess as a kid, you
didn't
like
like pinches of power?
No, where the little Toy Story dog somehow caught the 80-pound boy from hitting the spike.
Whoa, slow down. Dude, come on.
It was also kind of interesting there were bungee spikes, like Vietnam, and he's Vietnamese. I felt like that was a little bit much, a little on the nose. No? Just me?
Well, he wasn't planting them.
He saved himself from them because he's aware of it, maybe? I don't know.
He knew ahead of time. All right, that's fair. My first stock down is helping people move. So, I mean, the stock's terrible. No one's buying the stock anyways. There's nothing worse than when you have to help someone move. Or when someone asks you and then doesn't really hook you up with the necessary pizza and beers, which is really the key. If I'm going to help someone move, there better be copious amounts of pizza and beers. But our friend Rosalita here, she's just being straight taken advantage of. I mean, she's told that she has to basically pack and move all of this giant house, and they have the weekend to do it. Like the house is getting demolished on Monday. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, once you actually finish that, then you have to clean everything.
Wait, why do you have to clean it then if it's getting demolished?
That's what the mom said. She said, I want my house clean.
So they can blow it up.
If it's getting demolished, I want it clean. So it's actually like, I don't know, some weird form of slavery or something they got going on with her, because it's just mind fucking. Like, you not only have to do all this shit, but then afterwards you have to clean it up, even though it's completely unnecessary. Just having someone do something that is completely unnecessary. And like you said at the end, she finds all the jewels and no one's like, hey, good on you, Rosalita. Good on you. It's like, no, get back to work. The house isn't done yet. They keep her so locked up. They're like, I don't care that we have the house back. You now need to pack everything up and then unpack it. You know?
Yeah.
She's like pledging the Goonie frat or something. Don't help people move. And if you feel like you're being taken advantage of, call a helpline, because Rosalita needs help in this one. Just because the mom like hurt her arm, she's like, I hurt my arm. Probably rubbing on that favorite part of the statue that she likes so much.
Naturally. I wonder if the actor's arm was broken, or if that was actually in the script, like broken arm person.
Well, it was like a 120-page script, which is like super long for a movie like this. There was a ton that found its way to the cutting room floor, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there was a backstory where the bowling ball from the Rube Goldberg machine broke her arm, and she was like, I'm gonna die, and Mikey's like, Goonies never say die. She's like, I'm not a fucking Goonie, I'm your mom. I'm bleeding out here. Save me.
Probably my hates, but I hated the ending where like we just meet their parents for the first time, and it's like supposed to be this big, oh my god, you survived. It's like, I don't even know who these random people are. What are we introducing these people now for? What? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I think Data's dad was the bad guy in one of the Lethal Weapon movies.
He looked familiar. He looked very familiar. Yeah.
They have a nice moment together.
I guess.
You're my greatest invention. Aw.
Much nicer moment if we knew who that guy was before. You know, you can't just be like, what a great father-son story here. What if his dad's like beats him at night? You know, we don't know that. He could.
We're going to assume that everyone is in a loving, caring family.
I guess so. But
even Mouth.
That wasn't established, sir. I can have whatever. I can believe whatever I want if they don't establish it in the movie, right?
That's very true.
Thank you.
You're allowed to do that.
All right.
Did you have any other stock downs?
Yep. You're going to like this one.
Okay.
We're going to hit it. Josh Brolin being able to ride, stock down.
Being able to ride?
Yeah, you may know where this is going, but Josh Brolin's character doesn't pass the driving test, man.
Yeah.
That's basically why the whole story
happened. My God, I know where you're going with this one.
Why did he fail his driving test, man? Why?
Because he drives a motorcycle?
I'll put it to you this way. If he rode the rest of his life, really became the best he could be at riding, he'd never ride like I ride, sir. Never.
This is like your hottest take from like Wall Street 2? Is that what it is? Power of Greed
It's my
or something?
favorite clip from that movie.
Do you even ride, bro?
For anyone that's listening, who's continued to listen to this point, which I don't know why you would, but check out, it's a Wall Street 2 clip. It's called You Ride Mr. Moore on YouTube. You'll understand. But anyways, yeah, that's why he failed.
That's some bad writing.
And also, is Josh Brolin 16 going on 40?
Yeah.
How old does this dude look?
He honestly looks great.
Yeah, he's about to film Sicario, I thought. I was like, what's going on? What's happening right now?
I love his outfit, too. It's just so 80s. It's wonderful. He's got the red bandana tied around his head, the cut-off sweatshirt.
Yeah.
The full-length sweatpants with then the like short running shorts on top of them. Yeah. Which, like, why? I don't.
I also like
understand
they're painting him as like the everyday man, whereas like the jock is the one in like the varsity jacket. It's like, no, the guy that's dressed in like this complete hardo outfit is more of the jock looking than the guy that's walking around in like jeans and a jacket on, you know,
and a visor, like the loser golf bro. Yeah, well, talking about Josh Brolin, my next stock down is mowing lawns. So as a way of making money, because in this universe, I don't think you get any money from it, because according to Mikey, Brand did 376 lawnmower jobs to pay for his bike. And it just seems like a seriously not profitable line of business. I mean, how much do you think that bike cost? So let's say in 1985 dollars, even if it's a super nice bike, maybe $500. Like that would be a crazy nice bike. That means he's getting like $1.50 per lawn. So are these like 2x2 patches of grass that someone's just like literally crumpling up $1 into a wad and like flicking it at his face? Because I have no idea how you can mow 376 lawns And
him and Rosalita,
then
are at the same job stage.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, what's going on with blue collar jobs in this country club of Astoria, Oregon? I don't understand it. Imagine the guy who's like the greenskeeper for this golf course. He must make like $4 a year. No one appreciates a good lawnmower in this. So
yeah.
When I was a kid, I thought that was like the kids who had a paper route. I was like, okay, you make a couple bucks here and there. But I was like, the people who had lawnmower gigs, ooh, that was where you make real money. Because you get like $20 a lawn or something like that. Yeah. No way. Not in this world. Not in Goonies world. Also, Chris Columbus, you did a great job writing this, in my opinion. But why couldn't you just said 76? That's a lot of lawns. I would have been fine with 76 if it was like, I can understand how much that matters to him. But 376? You're a grown man, Chris. Have you never mowed a lawn? Do you not understand how much that costs? Do you not have a lawn? Do you live in Phoenix, Arizona, where the lawns don't exist? Especially because we're talking about the Pacific Northwest here. So there's a lot of rain. I mean, we're probably getting some healthy lawns. This is
there's a lot of sloping lawns, which would be really annoying.
Yeah, everything's quite difficult. Yeah. And the lawnmowers then weren't as nice as the lawnmowers now. All the money would just go into keeping the lawnmower up, just the gas alone. All right, let's get into love. What do you love about the Goonies? Come on, what'd you love about the Goonies, Keith?
I like Mouth speaking Spanish to the maid.
Yeah, that's so good.
That was good.
It was so good.
I mean, you could tell this was an inspiration for a lot of future movies and shows and things like that with kids in it. So I could definitely see why, like even some of the music parts, which I thought was a little bit over the top at times, but you could tell like some of the music sounded like it was from Stranger Things or something like that. Like where they'd start just playing like a mysterious like music, and you're like, oh, this kind of checks out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of my loves is just a good adventure movie, which is what it is. It's great adventure movie for kids. It's got it all. It's got chase scenes, scary caves filled with booby traps. This is where you're supposed to say booby traps. I said, that's why I said booby traps.
I didn't really get the joke. Booby and booty are both.
You're saying like it's accurate? Like it is a trap that for the booty,
no, but like,
pirates
it'd
booty?
It'd be funny if you were saying something that was similar to the word booby, because booby is a funny word, and booty is a funny word, but both are like kind of body parts words, right? So they're both funny, but you're not. It's not making it more funny by saying one way or the other. You know what I mean?
So you think it'd be funny if they were like, oh, like there's titty traps in here. Yeah. It's like, no, they're booby traps. It's like, oh, right.
That would be better. Or if it was like gritty traps and you called them titty traps, then it's funnier because it's a regular word turned into a word you're not supposed to say.
There's also in this movie, there's just the right amount of people getting hit in the nuts. I think we get like 2 or 3, which is perfect for me. It's like the Simpsons episode when Homer wins for man getting hit in the face with football or whatever the case is, or hit in the nuts with football. I forget, but it's just the right amount of nut shots. When you're a kid, you get a good laugh and you can move on. And as an adult, I also enjoy a good nut shot. What else did you love?
I didn't really have many other loves. You go ahead.
All right, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, naturally.
I loved the character intros. The opening scene in this I thought was great. I thought it was a great way to set it up. I mean, having the police chase going on in the background, like as you get introduced to every character, I thought was a fun way to do it. Chunk, for some reason, I mean, he obviously loves police chases and whatnot, but can tell the character he is just by him smushing his milkshake and pizza on the window there. You got a nice little gag with Corey Feldman, the water squirting in his face. Enjoyed that. I didn't really understand Steph's. I don't know if you remember that scene, but she's like on the pier when the car drives by, and she's like bobbing her head in some water and like pulls out a crab, just like a giant crab.
You don't remember that?
It was so quick and it just didn't make a lot of sense. She's just like in the water and all of a sudden she comes up and she's got a crab in her hand. Like, what? It's like,
she's also not into the movie for 30 minutes, right? I feel like I forgot that she was even in the intro scene.
Yeah, she has an intro. She doesn't have a lot of lines, and there's some sexual energy going on there between her and Mouth. We like that. I just thought it was a fun and creative way of doing character intros while also like kind of starting it off with a bang with this police chase, because after that it slows down a bit until the kids start going on their journey.
Yeah.
What'd you hate? We'll get into it. I was going to skip it just because I don't like their tone here.
I guess the biggest thing is, so it's just a coincidence that the bad guys are at that property. They don't know about the treasure. They're just, what are they there for? I don't really understand
It's just like an old rundown summer restaurant that
It's like
they're using as a
perfect
hideout.
water view, like the best real estate possible. Like, yeah, we'll just go to this like shitty place on the water. That's perfect.
Not in the summer, and it's a summer restaurant that's probably hasn't been used in a while.
Is now the summer? They're like in water the whole time. Wouldn't they be freezing?
Yeah, I'm sure it was very cold, but it's just a hideout. Like, what do you never saw like the Hardy Boys or something like that? I mean, that's just what bad guys do. Scooby Doo, heard of it?
I mean, there's just a nice coincidence that's like exactly the same place that they have to go to.
Suspend disbelief. Okay,
I thought the movie was going to be literally a treasure hunt, but with like all these different monsters and different things that pop up. So the brother is just a mentally disabled person. That's what that was.
Sloth.
Yeah. Hey, you guys is a normal human. That's
Yeah, Sloth. He's just a guy. He got dropped on his head a couple times. You know.
Jesus Christ! I was like, so people have been making fun of this guy this whole time. I thought it was a monster.
Oh, like in pop culture and stuff.
Yeah. Oh wow! All right, so
yeah,
that's what I thought. Like when I saw that, I thought he was a bad guy, and I assumed the whole movie was around like monsters and different things.
Yeah, maybe like stalk down like shitting on the mentally disabled or something, because definitely in pop culture he's probably been made fun of more when he's really like the victim of this terrible parentage. And although that, as a kid, I'll tell you what, that scene, like that first scene when you're introduced to him and you just see his back and he's chained up and he's like, "Rrr," it's like super scary. It's like, holy shit, that's like,
well,
really
I thought he
scary.
was part of the One-Eyed like crew that they found or something. I was like, oh, he's like, yeah, one of the bad guys.
Before you watch the movie?
No, in the movie, I was like, oh shit, so they like the bad guys are there because they know about the treasure too. That's why they broke out. I don't even know what they were bad guys for. Like, what's the reason?
Well, they're like armed robbers and stuff like that. I mean, they're Fratellis.
I thought they knew about the treasure too, and they're, you know, but it ended up just being all coincidence, you know, going on. And they also don't have no problem killing people, but they just like continue to let these kids get away. And
they tried to kill him, they couldn't. They were unsuccessful. They're gonna put Chunk's hand in a blender. I mean, come on.
Also, just a lot of yelling and screaming the whole time. Yeah. I mean, again, as if I watched this as a kid, I probably have no issues with it. But first time watching it, I was like, "Holy shit! Can we have like a break real quick for like not yelling about?" They're like, "Oh my god, we must die again!" It's like that's the whole point of this movie. Like you're gonna scream every single scene. It's like, yeah, so they did that. So. Yeah,
I'll agree with you there, and that seems to be like the number one criticism from the critics out there, was just like it's just like a lot of yelling.
Well, even in the house when they're like messing around, they're just screaming the whole time. You're like, what's going on here? Why is this happening?
They took that 120-page script, pared it down to like 80 pages of just kids yelling. But yeah, you know, just gotta keep the sound right.
I had to turn the subtitles on also because I didn't know what they're saying half the time, which is I usually don't read subtitles. Are you saying you couldn't
understand Data? That's just not nice.
I couldn't understand any of them. That's why I turned it on.
Are you one of those people that watches movies with subtitles on?
I don't. That's how big of a stretch I had to put them on because I was like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, we have some friends that we were watching The Last of Us, and we went to their place to watch an episode, and they watched it with the subtitles on. And I was like irate on the inside because I hate that. I understand it, like when it's like The Wire season 4 and you like can't understand some of the characters, so like you need to put it on.
Yeah.
But for me, I just get distracted and I just read the whole thing, so I don't see anything. I'm just reading.
I also hate seeing what they're gonna say before they say it.
Yeah, as well. My brother-in-law is tough. He's a little hard of hearing, so he puts it on, especially because he's also got like 2 kids who are just playing Goonies, aka just screaming the whole time. So he puts it on, and I'm like, shit. Whatever we're watching, I'm out. I can't do it. So my hate was, I didn't really understand at the end why no one was talking about the pirate ship. Chunk's eating Dominoes. Data's talking like taking family photos. None of the kids are like, hey, Mom, Dad, you know that hidden treasure that's been talked about for 400 years? Yeah, we found it and we've saved the community because we're going to use it. If that pirate ship appears, just know that we found it. Patent pending, trademarked, whatever you need to know, we found that. Instead, they're all just like, hey, it's good to see you guys. No mention of the Fratellis. No mention that there's people hunting them.
Say that either,
you know, there's guns about getting shot at. It's just like, hey, let me get a slice of pepperoni. Oh, Dad, I love you. You're so terrible at taking photos. I didn't really understand. It took until the Fratellis came out of the water for them to be like, oh yeah, those guys are here. And then the pirate ship came out. Everyone's just like smiling and nodding, not like, whoa, get on a boat and get over there because there's tons of jewels on there that we're going to be secure for the next 8 generations of this family. So yeah, I didn't really understand that. But hey, props to One Eye Willie. That ship floats, man. Those guys were great engineers. Whatever they did. Really good job by them. I didn't really as well talking about, I'm going to just chop up the story here. The story of how One Eye Willie got trapped in the cave. I know that, it's a story that gets passed down and changed and all that stuff. So who really knows? I understand. Okay, lots of ships. I can get that. They went into a cave, got cannonballed and stuck in there. Okay, sure. Why the British people didn't want to try to get any of the loot back doesn't make a ton of sense. But more importantly, why were the British operating off the coast of Oregon in the early 1600s? There's no Panama Canal. So how'd they sail there? Like, it's not even possible.
You can go around South America, but yeah.
Yeah, they went around the Cape of Good Hope. Like,
that's my whole point of like why the Spanish would be there. It doesn't make any sense, right?
The Spanish had at least taken over some of the South American countries. So in theory, they could have had like access to the Pacific.
Oh, okay.
Even if they like had Mexico and whatnot and had access to the west side of Mexico. But the British, like, I don't know. Although the Portuguese and whatnot did go to Japan in the early 1600s. So it's possible the British were there. If you had read Shogun, my favorite novel of all time, you would know this, but you refused to read a 1,000-page beautiful novel.
I've never said I wouldn't. Also, how about the structural engineers that are setting up that gym, putting the piping in, and then they're like, look, there's a big hallway down here that's like traps set up for people. Yeah, let's ignore that. Let's just set up the pipes and let's just mind our own business.
Yeah. Or the wishing well. It's just like, wait, you're almost at the end.
Yeah.
You're one piano and one slide away from having all of this, but let's not worry about it. Also, talk about the gym. The guy with the soap around his neck, was that a thing?
Pardon me? What?
He had it was like soap on a rope, but it was like a necklace.
Oh yeah, you don't want to drop the soap, kid, in the shower. Everyone knows that.
Why not? Why?
Because it's slippery.
But then you just pick it up. What do you mean?
No, but then you slip on the ground when you go to pick it up, and next thing you know, you're a face full of soap in your face and concrete.
Oh. Okay, that must be it. Last thing I hate. I gotta say it. Andy. I just didn't like what she said to Mikey. She told him, you keep kissing girls like that, and parts that don't work will catch up to the parts that do. Is she shaming him for having asthma? Because he can't control that. So...
Wait, what? When did she say that?
Like, towards the end, after he'd kissed her or whatever.
Yeah, and she was a little smitten with it. She wanted some more of that brace face.
Yeah, she liked it. Watch out for that hole. I think Brand was standing in it.
Wait, she says the parts that don't work will catch up to the parts that do?
She says, you keep kissing girls like that, and the parts that don't work will catch up to the parts that do. What parts don't work?
Is his dick not working?
That's what I said. It was like, if not it's asthma, then what is she insinuating? That his wiener doesn't work?
Yeah, that's kind of fucking bullshit.
Honestly... I just didn't appreciate it.
No, I don't care for it.
I didn't appreciate it on his behalf. So, Andy, just get it together. You goonie. Okay, let's get into some studio notes. I mean, it's a pretty epic writer, director, producer combo. We got the screenplay by Chris Columbus, who did Sail Across a Giant Ocean. And that's right off the heels of him writing Gremlins, which is a great film, if you haven't seen that. Great movie. Chris Columbus, for those that don't know, went on to direct Adventures of Babysitting a couple years later, both Home Alone movies, the first two. Mrs. Doubtfire, another two, the first two Harry Potter movies. So, he had a nice little run there. It was directed by Richard Donner, who did Superman, the original with Chris Reeves, and the Lethal Weapon franchise, which holds a wonderful place in my heart. Last but surely not least, the story was by Steven Spielberg. Heard of him? He's also a producer on the movie, and according to Sean Astin, basically co-directed it. I watched a Spielberg documentary once. That was really, really interesting. I went and just read his Wikipedia page. It's wild, the stuff that he was involved in that was so good. Even when we were kids, you remember Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain? Mm-hmm. He produced those. He was in on that. Yeah. It was just he touched so many things. I mean, obviously we all know about the big ones.
That's why he was always working with kids.
Well, he definitely had a huge hand in a bunch of kid stuff.
All right, we don't want to besmirch his good name.
Didn't mean that to come out like it came out, and I'm sure that's what he said too. But he's just, seems like just a great guy. Honestly, Seems like a great guy.
Yeah, I like it.
The Goonies was released on June 7th, 1985. It grossed $125 million on a $19 million budget. So as much as Keith wants to hate on it, it still made a shit ton of money. It was selected for preservation of the U.S. National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Another big FU to Keith right there. And they actually built One-Eyed Willie's ship like in full in order to get like the kids' reaction for the reaction shot when they see it in the film.
Yeah.
They didn't let the kids see it until they were like ready to film. And so they were like, all right, finally the kids are going to see it. They filmed it and it was like, the kids were a little chaotic. We didn't get the shot we wanted, so we need to shoot it again. But no one would buy the ship afterwards. You know, they were trying to sell the ship.
Yeah,
and no one would buy it, so they had to break it down. And unfortunately, One-Eyed Willie's ship will never
Pirates
sail.
of the Caribbean when you needed it.
Yeah, seriously, right? Most of the film was filmed in Astoria, Oregon, place where it took place, which is interesting. Mikey and Bran's house was open to the public, so fans could go and take a look-see until I think early 2000s, and then the people who owned it were like, "Get the fuck out of my house." Let's get some recast, rewrite, review. It's got a 76 critics, 91 audience on Rotten Tomatoes. Like I said before, most of the negative reviews were basically like around kids screaming, and yeah, that was like pretty much it. It being too loud was really the thing. It was like, this is just too loud. So yeah, I don't know. People can't just like suspend disbelief.
Well, I didn't mind that at first. When it first happened, I was like, oh, this is cool because this is actually, it seems like it's real kids. Like, this is what would happen. But then after like minute 50, I was like, holy shit, can we stop with this for like a minute? You know?
Yeah, no, I get you. And I thought the same thing too, in the sense of like, well, what would I do if I was there? I'd be screaming my face off. Like,
yeah.
I'd be like Chunk the whole time. I'd be like, bullet holes, bullet holes. Bullet holes, Mikey. They're bullet holes. We didn't really talk about truffle shuffle. You okay with fat shaming there?
I mean, there's a lot of 80s tropes, I think, and that's one of them where it was just like, all right, so we're going to have one actor that's just going to be overweight, and then we'll just make fat jokes the whole time at his expense. Yeah. And it's just like, all right, they're not even original. You got to give me something funny at least.
Well, the actor thinned out.
Yeah, I think he's like a famous agent now, Hollywood agent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think he represents like the director that did Parasite.
Good for him, for sure. All right, yeah, I think we pretty much covered the Goonies. I want to know what your score is. What's your score? What's your rating? How many buddies?
Well, I mean, again, I think this is a little bit different because I saw it as an adult and not a younger fellow, and I probably would have liked it more. Yeah,
you're a depraved child. Your parents didn't let you watch great movies, so now you had to watch it as an adult.
I give it 1.5 stars or buddies. You give Sandlot 2, which to me is blasphemy. So, I mean, if that's a 2, this is a 0. I mean, that's the fact of the matter. So this is a 1.5. No. The thing is, as a kid, I watched Indiana Jones. So, like, what would I rather watch, this or Indiana Jones? Like, Indiana Jones 1,000 times over 1,000. It's not even close. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't really understand. I just didn't think it was that good. That's the matter. Okay, that's fair. I give it a 3-star rating, some 3 buddies on this. I give it an additional 0.25 based on nostalgia. We're going for 3.25 here for me, which is kind of in line with what Roger Ebert said. So we kind of trust that he kind of knows what he's talking about as opposed to you. I'll find a Roger Ebert terrible review right now.
No, I know he's got a lot of them. Don't worry about it. All right, what do we got? What do we got coming up next?
Next, we got No Country for Old Men by CORMAC, McCARTHY, and then we're gonna watch the movie No Country for Old Men.
You're so excited.
So we got both those coming up.
We also have The Martian coming up in the future. So
yep.
All sorts of good things on the way. We got to find some more books. So people out there, if you have some recommendations, let us know. Otherwise, Keith, you let me know. Mm-hmm. All right. Remember, Keith, Goonies never say die
or make mistakes, but we always make mistakes.
Imagine if you were playing a game and like you didn't have 2 dice and you only had 1, and like Goonies couldn't even say it. It's so difficult.
Nicely done.
All right. Well, that's the Goonies, and we'll catch you next time for No Country for Old Men. All right, Keith. Great talking to you.
Yep.
Bye now.